right, 7 steps to a successful scholarship application. So a couple things here. Number 1, make 2 copies of the application. These are just things, little things that will help you out. So make 2 copies of the application, at least 2. One so you have a working copy on, and you can make mistakes and flub it up and all that kind of stuff. So as soon as you find the scholarship application, print it out and write on it and mess everything up as far as it goes, because you never know what they're going to ask. You don't want to send in one with cross-outs on it. Just make sure that you've gone through it twice and you have one for mess-ups. Now, a lot of these applications are also online. If they're online, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff, but do double check it. Nothing worse than spelling your name wrong or having a typo on an application. Second thing is, if you have to send it in or mail in the application, type it, okay, as best you can. If you can't type it, a lot of these applications now are online where you can fill in the boxes and then print it out. But if you can't type it and you can't, put it on, you can't do it online, and you have to mail it in, and you have to hand write it as clearly in print as you possibly can, obviously. Next up, put your name at the bottom or top corner of each page of your application. Okay, because a lot of times these applications, they get separated, like they just get separated. So they'll have to pull them apart, or certain people will look at a certain part of the application, and other people just want to see the essay part or something along those lines. So put your name at the bottom of each one. Remember, when you're going for a scholarship, they're just going to pick somebody. If you're doing a judgment scholarship, they're just going to pick somebody. They're going to give it to somebody. So you want to just take every precaution. Sometimes it's not even the best essay or the best application. It's the one that they picked. And if they ripped yours or they couldn't find a page of yours for whatever reason, it might be their fault. Nothing you did wrong. You might have write a great essay and a great application, but they lost a page and they can't find it. So they just give it to somebody else. If they're giving away money, it's their money to give away. So write your name on the bottom, on the top, or in the corner of every page so they can find your pages. Next up, answer every question. Very important. If it doesn't apply to you, write NA, not applicable, or not applying to you. And so do not leave any blanks. All right, really important, because there usually is an intern or a secretary whose job is just to go through all these applications. So it's usually, especially a judgment application or a judgment scholarship, where they have things, you have an application, and then things you have to answer, and then there's something you have to write. The person who's judging the essays, they don't want to read every application, so they give it to an intern or somebody, and they just go through and find out what's wrong first. And then if they see blanks, they usually just take them through it out. Even if it's not applicable to you, just write NA, fill in everything, and make sure you understand what everything says. I remember I read an application once, and it said marital status, and the person wrote black belt, okay, meaning martial status. So that's obviously, that person's not getting a scholarship, or wasn't getting the job. I was out interviewing them for a job. So make sure you write everything. Next up, number 5, check, recheck, and double check, okay, and triple check. So check everything. Have somebody else look over your essay. Have somebody else look over the application. A lot of times they'll catch stuff that you won't catch. Remember, it's very hard to proofread something that you wrote, because in your mind's eye, you're seeing whatever you want to see. Like sometimes your mind will be thinking, 3 times ahead of what you're actually writing. And so, you don't catch commas, you don't catch misspellings, the your thing, or the there, is it THEIR or THERE? You just write, sometimes you write stuff and somebody else will catch it that you didn't catch. Even though you proofread it yourself 2 or 3 times, you might not catch commas and typos and things because they're you, and you just read it that way. So have somebody else look at it. Remember, the first cut in scholarships is that intern or that secretary who's just going through each one, looking for blanks, looking for, and their job depends on that. They don't want their boss to get the applications that are messed up. So they're going to go through with a fine-tooth comb, looking for anything wrong. Okay, so make sure you're just not that person, that you roll this time into an essay and your application's messed up, so they don't even get to see your essay. Next up, place all your documents in the requested order. Okay, this is a big thing. All right, but it's usually application on top, and then whatever other things they ask for, background stuff, and then it's usually an essay. And if it's like a portfolio or something like that, if you're an artist, or extra stuff, if they ask for it, then you put it's usually on the bottom. Okay, again, go by what the criteria of the scholarship is. But here's the thing: don't put in extra stuff just because it's extra stuff, like because you think it's going to get you some sympathy votes, or you think it's really cool. Putting extra stuff in your application is not going to help you. It actually will hurt you. If you want to make an impression, have an error-free, on-time, neat, presentable package. That will make a better impression than whatever else you're thinking about adding. Also, last step, number 7, is no staples. Okay, don't staple it together. Use paper clips. And when you send it in a legal size envelope. Don't fold it, up and crunch it all into a regular size envelope. Get a legal envelope and stick all the papers in there. The reason you don't want to use staples is because when you have papers like this, what will happen is a certain number of pages, like the receptionist or the secretary or the intern, there's like 1, 2, 3 pages that are the application, and then the next pages are the essay or whatever. And a lot of times they'll just rip it off, all right? But sometimes you staple it and they rip it off, they might tear your application in half, all right? And they go, oh, whoops, okay? And they don't even bother. You think that their boss or whoever is making the judgment is going to read your essay half ripped, even though it wasn't your fault. So put it in a paper clip and put it all in a legal size envelope, and then you don't got to worry about them ripping your application up. All right, so just some quick tips, 7 tips to help you out. Make sure your application looks nice when you send it in and get you some money.